this week. We've got a pretty interesting topic. I'm flying solo, so I think next week I'll welcome back DJ Meyer and Vinny. And so let's go ahead and get started. Remember, No Law Firm Left Behind. We're here each week. What we're trying to accomplish with No Law Firm Left Behind is to help keep your law firms competitive, actually to keep your staff and your attorneys productive, and to help get your clients calling. So today, what we're going to cover is a way to keep your staff and attorneys productive. And we're going to use that using Microsoft 365 and a product in it called Bookings. And so with Bookings, a lot of people don't know that they actually have that. And it's a scheduling application for law firms. Yeah, give me a second. I think we're having a problem with the live stream. I want to double check it. Give me a second. Sorry about this. I hate technical problems just like anybody else, but you know, we got to make sure we're going live, or guess what? It doesn't do us any good at all. My apologies for the delay, my friends. But such as it is with live streaming, there we are. We're definitely live. So, hey, listen, again, we're going to cover today Microsoft Bookings. Now, it's an application that comes with most bundles for Microsoft 365. And what it does is exactly what it's called. It does bookings. And Microsoft intended for Microsoft Bookings to be a way for people out in the world to go to an internet site and schedule time with you. And also even go so far as to pay you through the interface. But I'm not going to talk about that today. What we're going to talk about is the scheduling portion of Microsoft Bookings. So attorneys, generally speaking, like to control their schedules for very good reasons. So having an application like Microsoft Bookings and turning that out to the public is a really different concept for most seasoned attorneys, most veteran attorneys, right? I mean, the younger generation, yeah, that's kind of how they were brought up. But even for me, for that matter, as a technology professional and marketing professional, I understand the reservations that go along with putting my calendar out there and allowing people to see it and potentially grab time on it. Maybe I don't want to be with those people. Maybe I want to free that time up, and I don't live really well on my calendar. But, you know, I got to tell you, with Microsoft Bookings, they've made it. Microsoft has made it in such a way that you don't have to worry about that so much anymore. There's functionality in it that you can make it so you can approve your time so that it's not booked completely, or that people can't see your calendar really. They just see availability. You can also put in things like buffer times. There's a whole host of features and functionalities that really gave me pause to reconsider the idea and concept of allowing my clients and customers to book with me. And also in this day and age, especially with COVID-19, with the economy the way it's going, with the reduced workforces, with the remote aspects of everybody working in separate different places, Microsoft Bookings actually kind of really should be a very strong consideration for most law firms today. And, you know, if you don't want to turn it out, I've got a novel approach, something that most people don't think about with Microsoft Bookings. If you don't want to turn it out to the internet to allow people the ability to actually schedule with you, why not use it internally? So think about this concept for a second. Your clients are calling hopefully all day long, right? Or maybe after hours. And you have somebody that answers the phone, okay? Whether it's an after hours answering service, or maybe it's your receptionist during hours, or a paralegal or legal secretary, even another attorney answering the phone for you. But it's really important not to miss out on that opportunity. Maybe it's an initial consult with a client, or maybe it's a follow-on meeting that you need to have with a client. You don't want to miss out on serving that client or evaluating the opportunity with that potentially new client. So why not use Microsoft Bookings exclusively internally rather than just consider it for external use? And of course, I think you should consider it for external use. But I'm going to cover 3 ways right now that you can use it. One, internally only to schedule bookings for you, and I call the calendar events bookings. The other way is to turn it out, and the third way is to put it in your signature. So first, I'm going to cover what I consider to be the kind of novel approach to scheduling using bookings, and that's to turn it inside, right? To only give it to our staff. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly legitimate way to do it. So let's kind of get into that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Microsoft 365 over here, and I'm going to show you the interface for Microsoft Bookings right here. Let me see if I get this banner off so everybody can see it. I will grab that banner and say bye-bye. Fantastic. Okay, so now you're seeing Microsoft Bookings. How do I get to it? Well, you can go to any, if you're an administrator, if you have the ability to manage your Microsoft 365, all you have to do is log into your Microsoft 365. And as you see, this website is outlook.office.com/bookings, right? It puts the homepage in there for you. But if you can just get logged into your Office 365, you can easily go to the 365 waffle, that's what we call it, and grab your bookings link right here. And this is the interface to actually manage bookings. Now, I think that Microsoft, in my opinion, kind of got it a little bit backwards. And I think that they put the most important stuff at the bottom, and you should kind of work from the bottom to the top. If you haven't already set this up, or if you don't have access to set it up, this is the information that needs to be set up in Microsoft Bookings for it to work, right? And of course, you want to put your law firm address, and you can, you don't have to put your email address here. This is business information, business contact information. Maybe it's yours, maybe it's not. Maybe you have a privacy policy because people are going to be giving you information in your bookings here. So, I'm getting a report. You can't see what we're showing. Well, Vinny, I'm kind of surprised at that. I've got it up on the screen here, and I'm showing live. Let me just stop the share because Vinny's saying he cannot see what I'm sharing. So give me a second here. Vinny, I'll go ahead and do a reshare. Thanks for pointing that out for me. I'm going to go ahead and do a reshare, my screen 3, and share. And then I'm going to spotlight it. And Vinny, if you don't mind, would you give me a message back real quick, letting me know that you can see that? Vinny's not here today, but he's watching online. So I want to make sure. Yeah, I can see it in the screen now. So nevertheless, this is where we start in Microsoft Bookings. Outlook.office.com/bookings. Go to the waffle, click on the bookings link if you can administer it. If you can't administer it, you'll only get settings for yourself, but this is where you administer it. So I think you go to the business information and kind of work your way up from there. And so we put what are our business hours? It's really important, and this goes along with how people want to schedule. So if our business hours are 8 to 5, then we should put them in there. But that doesn't mean that people can schedule 8 to 5. Every individual has the ability to actually schedule or block out their time. Maybe I only want schedules in the afternoon from 2 to 5, right? That's fine. Every individual has the ability to control that on their own. So I start at the bottom, move my way up. Of course, most important thing, get that logo in there. Really important because the branding page, you'll see in a moment or two how important that'll be in the branding page. Now, services is where we're going to start getting down and dirty, okay? So you can see I've built some services here for myself, and then I've built some services in case people want to use it. But we're going to build a new service. What's a service? Well, an initial consult is a service, or a call with our client is a service, right? Anything that you would do on a more consistent and regular basis, maybe a service could be an impromptu meeting or a return call to a client, right? And so they said, I'm going to be available at 2 o'clock. So give me a call back. So that could be something. Remember, we're using this internally. So this could be anything you want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an initial consult. And I'm going to call that initial consult. I'm even going to abbreviate it. IC Jim, right? And that's all I need. Initial consult with Jim. And why do I make it short? Well, this is internal, and we might have a whole bunch of these for different attorneys. So, you don't want to overburden yourself with a whole lot of text. And plus, I don't think Microsoft gives you a whole bunch of text display, and they haven't made an ability to adjust the columns in the service list yet. And what is this? Initial consult with Jim. Perfect. Where's the location? Well, you know what? If we're going to have a location, we could put it at our office. And so you just kind of look up the office and just put it in there, right? And then what's nice is when this shows up on the bookings page for whoever's setting it up, and when the client gets the email. By the way, I didn't mention this. Booking sends an email and can send a text to your client too to remind them about the booking. So the missed initial consults and the missed meetings, they'll go from like right here to right here, hopefully for you, right? The number of reminders that you get to people, the better off. You'll also, as the person that the booking is for, you'll get the alerts too. So is this an online meeting? Well, we can add an online meeting. This is something new. We're not going to go into this entirely, but you can. And so it could be a Microsoft Teams meeting that it sends out for you as well for this particular time, which of course would negate the default location. So for right now, I'm going to take out the initial location, make it a default. What's the duration on this? Well, an initial consult, we're probably going to spend about an hour on it. And you know what? I don't want to book anything before or after this initial consult. I want to make sure that nothing gets bumped up and I'm not back to back on my calendar when somebody in my office is scheduling for me. So if I've got something on my calendar at 1 o'clock and they're trying to schedule an initial consult with my client, maybe I want 30 minutes before so I can make sure that I get back to the office, and then 30 minutes after so I don't get back to back on things. Really important. This part can be controlled also by the end user, but if you think ahead and you put this on the actual event, you're helping out the person that you're doing the booking for. So now, would you like to let the customer manage their appointment when it was booked by you or your staff on their behalf? You know what? That's up to you, but you can give the ability for the person to cancel the appointment or move the appointment. Again, this is kind of turning it back out, right? And this purpose right now, what we're talking about is keeping it inside. So I would say right here, no, but experiment with this on your own because it's very useful. See how that works. Set up a booking for yourself to an alternate email address and see what this looks like, and then try to move the account. Number of attendees, manage the number of attendees. Well, you know what? I'm only going to leave one. I'm not going to worry about that. Is there a price on it? Guess what? You can charge your clients for your initial consults through here. And so, but I'm going to say, you know what? This is a free consult. Put some notes on here. This is a note that goes on every initial consult, but it's an internal note. Now, what fields do I want? Do I want any custom fields on an initial consult? You know what? That's up to you. I'm not going to go into how to customize these. You get the regular ones: name, address, telephone number, and email address. And so you may want some more. What area of law you can develop? What area of law do you want on it? And as you can see, you know, these are the regular ones. I want name, I want phone number, I want the customer address, and I want some notes. Maybe I want notes. Maybe I don't want those. Maybe I do B2B, so I want to require that they do firm, you know, a company name. And then, of course, I can add other ones. But I'm going to go ahead and require these for a booking so that somebody in my office doesn't give me an incomplete booking without a telephone number and an email address. Now, notes, you know, hopefully they'll use them, but I didn't require it. Now, this is the email confirmation. Do I want to add an email reminder? Well, sure, I want to add an email reminder. So I want to remind the client maybe 2 days beforehand. Send it to the client, send it to all attendees. So that's me as the staff, 2 as a client. You know what? Just to be safe, just a reminder, you are booked with Jim Gast soon in 2 days. There we go. And it'll have the time and date in it. Looking forward to seeing you. Okay? And save. Boom. Easy enough. Any additional information, you can mess with this. Also, here's where you set up the text messaging so that if they've got their telephone number in there, they are asked, by the way, they're asked by the person booking the meeting, hey, is it okay to text you in a reminder for the meeting? They can do that, or they can just check the box and just send it to them anyway. But there are rules that apply this, so I don't want to breach any ethics. I'm not claiming that you should do it. I'm not claiming that you shouldn't do it. I'm saying that every state ethics are different, and also there are probably FCC regulations on SMS as well, so you probably want to watch out for that. Show this service on a booking page? Yeah, maybe I want to, but the way we're going to do this, I'm not going to need it. So I'm going to leave it here to show you what that looks like. Online scheduling options, your default scheduling policy. And what this does is the time increments, lead time, so on and so forth. But we'll leave this pretty standard. I'm not going to change this. I want you to experiment with some of this on your own. Now, you know what? I need to save that actually. So who are my people that we book for? Well, obviously, I'm someone that we book for. All right. So I want to make sure that I'm set up. Let me go ahead and close that and come back. I'm set up to accept bookings from someone and that my parameters on my bookings are correct. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here. You know what? I'm bookable. You know, maybe I have a logo, maybe I have color, so I'm easy to spot. These are my booking times, use business hours. When I say use business hours, that goes back to the business hours for the business. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe what I want is some special business hours. Maybe I only want to be able to be booked certain times. Notice here, I can be booked from 8:30 to 11. Now, mind you, I do the live stream, but I actually have stopped using this particular booking link. So if somebody found it, they could book me. But most of the time, this is internally. So I would take that out of there and say, you know what? I only want to be booked after the live stream show and after we've done our debrief and our discussions about the live stream internally. But I'm good to be booked up to maybe like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. And so I'm going to go and put 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. Maybe I want to be able to be booked by somebody internally on Saturdays. Remember, this isn't for the outside world. All of these settings will be applied to somebody that's looking for the booking internally for me. And then, of course, email me and let me know whether or not I can be booked. Now, really big important thing. Events on my office calendar affect my availability. What does that mean? Well, if I've got something on my Outlook calendar, which is integrated with my Office 365, if this isn't checked, it's going to ignore that and go ahead and book over that stuff. So this is a very important checkbox. So my availability is based on my calendar and the way it shows. Don't worry, though. No one gets to see your calendar. All they get to see are the available slots that you have shown for them. You've set up in all of this, right? And so, you know what? Maybe I say, you know, I don't want to be booked on Tuesdays at lunchtime or Thursdays at lunchtime, but Friday, you know, the same thing. And maybe at Friday, actually, I don't even want to be booked anytime after 11 o'clock on Friday. You can put as many of these in here as you want. What I recommend is put a couple in there just to work with it for yourself right now and have your internal staff test with it. But if your internal staff know what you want, then you should be okay. Now, customers, we're not going to talk about customers too much. And I'm not going to go in there because I don't want to give some confidential information. But when the booking is created, and you'll see, I'll show that to you in a minute. When this booking is created, the individual that is booking this for you will take customer information. So an initial consult, that's where you'll start grabbing that data. And the good news is that information in this customers is exportable. So we can bring it into other systems like your case management or your billing and so on and so forth. If nothing else, it's shown on the booking for you when you get ready to talk to that person. So what's the booking page look like? Okay. Well, the booking page is the internet-based site. Now, if somebody came into your bookings page, they'd find it and they'd be able to book it. You know what? They're not going to find it. You're not publishing it out to the world necessarily unless you want to. What you're doing is you're publishing it for internal purposes. So of course the people in the office will know about it. So why not publish it so that that person that's sitting there and doing the bookings or everybody in the office that has to book something for somebody can go to the same page and book for you, right? Not turning out the internet, not making it available to your clients, only making it available to internal people, only publishing it to the inside. Not that it's not published to the outside, it's just not advertised to people. You're not telling people about it. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find. Yeah, sure, somebody could fall into it, but the likelihood is really small if you ask me. So let's start by saying this is the page, right? This is the link that would be shown. What an ugly link. We're not going to talk about how ugly this link is. I haven't found a way yet. Maybe they've changed it since I set this up to change the booking link, the booking page, but let's not worry about that for right now. Require Microsoft 365 from an account from my organization to book. There we go. That right there says only the people in my organization can use this booking page. All right. Disable direct search and search indexes. So if you want to turn it to the outside world, you would uncheck this. And then you would leave this checked and search engines would find your booking page. What a great way to do some marketing. So if you want to do some, initial consult for DR, or for personal injury, or for whatever area of law it would be, business to business law or whatever, great way to get another search engine link. Now, I've left this disabled, and I have found my booking link in search engines. So you can use this to your benefit. My suggestion, use some keywords for SEO in the description of the bookings and on your booking page. That way, search engines like you a little bit more. Just some thoughts. This is not a class on SEO. Customer data, show a personal data collection and consent policy. This is up to every law firm and every state's ethical rules, right? You need to know what your state requires for you to do this. I can't tell you that, but this is where you would where it would be on your booking page, right? Show that. And show that. Now, I believe the privacy policy is probably just as important and probably takes care of it, but I'm not going to make that recommendation. It's just my thought. Scheduling policy. This is where we say what can be done. So by default, the scheduling time increments are 30 minutes. I get a 1 hour lead time. You know what? Maybe I don't want anybody to schedule anything for me, no sooner than 24 hours from right now. So very important. Lead time, that's the maximum lead time. They can only schedule me 14 days out. Maybe that's good for you. Maybe that's not good for you. I know a lot of attorneys schedule 30 days out. So maybe you want to change this to 45 days or 60 days for that matter. All right. Email notifications. Email me. Notify the business via email when a booking is created. So does the business owner need to know? Does everybody in the business need to know? No, probably not. So that's that business email address down here in business information. So I would probably, in this case, turn it off unless it's important for your firm and it's a group mailbox or something like that. But, and you just want to keep track of how often bookings is being used. Then send a meeting invite to the customer in addition to the confirmation email. So this is a calendar invite as well as the confirmation email. So if they're using any number of systems like Outlook.com, maybe even Gmail, well, for sure Gmail, they'll get a calendar invite and it'll actually give them the ability to put it on their calendar. Not a bad thing. Here's a big one. Allow customers to choose a specific person for the booking. Well, you know what? If this service is specific to me, then I don't want somebody to override my actual service. Instead, I'm going to leave it unchecked right here. But maybe I have an initial consult, and we all do initial consults the same way. And in that case, I would probably go ahead and allow the customer. Now, keep in mind, the customer here is not the customer. This is the person in office that's doing the booking. So if you have 5 attorneys that are scheduling appointments, you would have 5 services specific to them, and they all have their buffers and their time availability, right? Well, if you leave this unchecked, then it would fall back to that availability and service only on the booking that they pick. If you check this, it will allow you to pick any one of those services, any one of those people, but the availability again goes to the person that. So if I say, for me, I say I don't do bookings on Monday, but somebody else does. They can pick it for somebody else, but they couldn't pick the time for me. Don't worry, this is not going to pick a time that you don't want somebody to pick. You're in control of this, but you have to experiment with it to get it right for yourself. So for right now, I think it's easier to make a service specific to an individual, start off that way, and then later on come and make a generic service, and then start working with this for the page, right? Kind of experiment with it. And then general availability, book when staff are free. Generally, nobody's bookable, so we can't book, or custom hours in a recurring week. So this is the recurrence of availability. We're not going to go too deep into that. Again, these are areas that you need to play with a little bit on your own. And then also you can set date ranges. Maybe we're not open during the holidays, and so nobody can book. Screen colors, logos, all that stuff, up to you. Display the business logo on the booking page, sure. Allow time slots in the business. Always show business time slots, okay? The goal here is if somebody's booking in something out of Central Time and we're in Eastern Time, we're showing them Eastern Time if it's checked. But if it's unchecked, we're showing it in their time, which is fine. We can do that. So I'm not going to publish this, but you would have to save this and publish this to make the, I'll go ahead and publish it. Save it and publish it and make it work for yourself. Now, here's what's awesome about it. That link is active. I'm going to go ahead and copy this link and show you what this looks like. I'll paste it into my browser, paste and go, and keep in mind, that's what it looks like. Now, I've got a whole bunch of services, so for me, I would pick the particular service. What do you do with this link? Everybody in the office would maybe create a shortcut for the link, a desktop shortcut for the link. There's other things you could do with it as well. I'm going to tell you how to use it in a signature if you do want to turn it out. But look, you know what? If there's my initial consultation, I'll click on that. And then what does it do? You know, I said, I only want it for me, so I'm just going to pick it for me, right? So what's my availability tomorrow? On Friday, 9:30. I can only book time on 9:30, 2:30. They're not getting times because I buffered them, right? And so that's what my goal was, to make sure that I didn't have too many things booked. So I have to have 30 minutes before this one and 30 minutes after this one available. So I'd have to be available from 9 o'clock for a booking at 9:30 to 10:30, and then be open from 10:30 to 11 to book this time. And you know what? I know my calendar. And I know for a fact that that is correct here. So notice it comes into Eastern time zone, but people can change it so they can see it for themselves. I uncheck that checkbox. And so I'm allowing them to see it in whatever time zone they want to see it in. Now, mind you, again, this is for internal. This really isn't as important for internal. But if you're booking somebody from East West Mountain Time and you're just not sure the time zone change, the person doing the booking can easily pick it in the office. Say, "What? Are you 2 hours behind? You know what? Let me not even think about it. I'm just going to go ahead and change it. You know, so I know that it's 7:30 our time. You know, 9:30 our time, 7:30 your time. And then, of course, name. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pick this name, email. Right, address. This is, if I have an address in here, I don't have an address in here, but it's required. 9624 Sin Columbus Road, Cincinnati, right? 45241, something in there, right? And I put some notes on here. Talk about, remember, this is an internal booking. Talk about their case, right? It's an initial consult. Now, notice it's the checkbox for getting bookings confirmation by email and text message. So you can check this or uncheck this. They would get a text message if that telephone number was a text messageable telephone number. I know that's kind of a funny word, and this one is. And so I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to also put in, I'll just use my email address. I don't mind. We'll see how this works out. Let me go ahead and just change this to another. Yeah, that's a fine one. And then I'll go ahead and do the booking. Now, of course, missing information. What's missing? Preferred date and time. Oh, yeah, I forgot to pick it. Yeah, you got to pick it. And so I book it. And so what happens is it books it, puts it on my Outlook calendar. Now, I'm not going to show you my Outlook calendar. Well, maybe I can on my phone. Taking its good old time. It's been a while since I just set this one up, so it's probably churning and burning through it. But the important thing is that booking would then, it's probably messing up because it's my email address, right? My own personal email address that I put in as the client. We'll find out. Nevertheless, that's one way to use bookings is internally. I'd also like to show you how to use it all as a signature in case you ever want to do that. Oh, by the way, there it went. So thank you. It doesn't always take that long. Thank you for booking with us. Probably the live stream actually slowed it down. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Notice, by the way, there's the booking right there, okay? If the person was on the phone and made a mistake with you, you know what? I'm sorry. Or they call up. There's a way to cancel it for the person that actually booked it. But if you turn this out to the end world, to the client, they would have the ability potentially, if you let them, to come in here, reschedule or cancel their own booking because of the link in their email. Now I'm going to get an email link here in a few if I haven't gotten it already. Let me go ahead and open up my app for no, I'm not logged in. So I'm not going to log in. I use my Citricom app, which is our voice over IP solution for messaging. I'm not signed into it right now, and that's the number that I put in, but I would get that as a message. So I'm also going to go ahead and show you the email that I got. Hold on. new booking. Here's what I got as an alert email. So here's what I got for the alert email. New booking for Jim Gast. You know, it is a Teams meeting, of course, because I checked that checkbox. It is a meeting at a particular time. So they're getting an invite. I can join it from my calendar because it is a Teams meeting. I'll show you what the client gets right here. This is what the client gets. Look, they've got an ICS, so they can put it on their calendar, but they can also join the Teams meeting here. Now, if there wasn't a Teams meeting, it wouldn't include this, and it would have more information about telephone and contact information for the end user. Now, I'll show you real quick one thing, and you can now, because this could be published to the outside world, you could give this a link. You could embed this in a web page through this. So you can embed this in a web page. You could embed this into your LinkedIn posts, your social media posts. Probably the better to do with this link. You can copy this link and put it on your website as a link in your navigation bar or a button on your website so that they can book with you. So not only did we just show how to use it internally, we also just right now, just through this, the very means of this, gives us the ability to actually put it on a website and turn it out if we want to. Again, if we don't want to, we can actually disable this and disable this as well by checking these checkboxes. And then finally, because I copied that, now this is the booking link. Maybe I want to say set up a meeting with me. So I come to my services here, and my initial consult was not assigned to a particular staff. Maybe, and I should have actually assigned it to myself. Let me go back and assign it to the particular person, which is me. Hang on. Where am I assigning this? I'm losing my eyes today. They assign staff right here. All right. I assign myself by checking that. I save and discard. Save it. I didn't discard. Now I'm going to do a quick refresh. Did it show up? There it is. It's assigned to me. I come in here and I copy this link for this particular service, right? For this initial consult. Then I can make it and put it in my signature. And so what I've done is I've set up a really quick email here, and I have a bogus signature in here that I've created. In my emails, I can edit my signatures, or if you use the signature software, you can have this, have the ability to use this in Exclaimer, and there's ways you can do this for each individual. Schedule a meeting with me. Notice it's not hypertext, right? But all I have to do is highlight it, click the little button right here, put in the address, okay? Schedule a meeting, say okay. Notice it's scheduled with me. Now I have, when I use that signature, I have that right there, and we can click on it, and it goes to the booking page for the person that's trying to schedule it in the outside world. Again, if you're not wanting to turn this outside, the last two things I showed you, how to put it as a booking link in an email, or to turn it out to the web, or embed it, and so on and so forth. There are not ways you would do it. If you only wanted to use it internally, you would probably just give maybe even create a shortcut link like I have here. I'll show you. I created a shortcut link on my desktop so that an end user could, a scheduling person in my office could come in on their desktop and actually just go right to the web page by looking at it. So you could have a dozen of these for different people, for different purposes if you wanted, or there's Power Apps and a whole bunch of other mechanisms to do things that you can make it so easy for people to find. Or since it's an internal page, guess what? We just give this page to the internal person that's allowed to book for us, and they just go to it too. So again, this is a way to make your staff more efficient, which is what we're all about here at No Law Firm Left Behind. We're trying to make your attorneys and staff more efficient, helping you get clients to call you, make it easier to get with them, making it easier to book with them, and have that contact information, lowering the number of times that people are not going to show up for initial consults or miss meetings and calls because we're sending them reminders. These are all the premise of No Law Firm Left Behind. So we're here next Tuesday as well. I think I will publish what we're doing on next Tuesday's event, probably on Thursday. But if this video, this live stream helped you today, by all means, make a comment. Tell me if you're interested in using it. Tell me if you're going to use it, if you're wowed by it. But if nothing else, go ahead and like it and join No Law Firm Left Behind. I'll go ahead and put that link up here again, get myself back on the screen. I'll go ahead and put that link back up here one more time so everybody sees it. No Law Firm Left Behind group on LinkedIn. I know it's an ugly link. Sorry about that. LinkedIn doesn't give us the ability to make groups any prettier. But fine, if you do a search on No Law Firm Left Behind on LinkedIn, you'll find the group. Again, I'm Jim Gast, welcoming. I thank you for coming, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Thanks for everything, guys.